I'm back here at my home turf at the lake. By the time I post this, I'll be back from my week-long Vegas trip, so definitely excited to get you guys some new content. We're in for $500. Let's get into it. Here, look down at Ace Jack 10-7, single suited to the ace on the button. There's a couple early position limps. I make it 30. Both the blinds and limpers call, so we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes Jack 8-5 rainbow. Both the blinds check. Under the gun bets 100. Player in front of me folds to me. And if I had a little bit more equity here besides a gutter, not even the nut gutter to go along with my top pair, I would definitely call here, but especially having two players behind me also, I decided to fold. Let me know what you think. Here, look down at King Queen 9-8, single suited to the queen in the cutoff. Folds to me, I open 20, button, and one of the blinds calls, so we're going 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes 10-8-5 with 2 hearts. Big blind leads 60. To me, I decided to fold here, and the late position player folds as well, so big blind's going to take it down. Here, look down at Ace-Ace, Jack-10, single suited to the ace on the button. Cutoff opens at 20. I call, and one of the blinds calls, so we're going 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes King-Queen-10 with 2 spades. When it checks the original raiser, he bets 35. I make it 125, and everyone folds, so we take it down. Here, look down at Ace-Ace 7-3, single suited to the ace in middle position. There's an early position limp. Player to my right opens at 25. I call, and there's 2 other callers, so we're going 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes Ace-Ace-4 rainbow. When it checks to me, I check back as well, and late position player checks, so we're still going 4 ways to a turn. Turn brings a 6, which obviously brings in the straight draw. Unfortunately, I'm obviously blocking all of the straight draws here. When it checks to me, I check. No one takes the bait, and we're still going 4 ways to a river. River brings an 8, so hopefully I can get a little action here with the straight coming in. When it checks to me, I bet 30, and we get 1 caller. I turn over my hand. Obviously, we're good, so taking it down. Here, look down at Ace-King 10-6, single suited to the ace on the button. When it folds to me, I open a 20, and only the big blind calls, so we're going heads up to a flop. Flop comes Ace-Queen 9 rainbow. When it checks to me, I see bet 25, and he folds, so we take it down. Here, look down at Jack 10-10-9, single suited to the jack in middle position. There's an early position open to 20. I call, and we get 3 other callers, so we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes 7-5-3 with 2 diamonds. When it checks to me, I check. Late position player bets 40. One of the blinds calls and folds to me. I fold as well. I go a couple hours here before really playing anything until I look down at Queen-Queen 10-7, double suited in middle position. I make it 20. There's 3 late position callers and one of the blinds calls, so we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes King-Jack 6 with 2 diamonds. When it checks to me, I check. Button bets 85, folds all the way back to me, and I also fold. Here, look down at Queen Jack 9-8, single suited to the jack in the cutoff. There's 1 early position limp. I make it 25. The button calls, and everyone else folds, so we're going heads up to a flop. Flop comes 9-9-7 with 2 clubs. I revert back to my old bad habit of trying to slow play and check. He checks back, so we're still going heads up to a turn. Turn brings a jack. I continue slow playing, and he continues checking back, so still heads up to a river. River brings a 6, I bet 30, and my opponent folds, so we take it down. Here, look down at Ace-Queen 10-9, single suited to the ace under the gun. I open at 20, we get 3 callers, so we're going 4 ways to a flop. Flop comes 8-8-4 with 2 hearts. Action checks through, so we're still going 4 ways to a turn. Turn brings a 10 of hearts, small blind leads 40. I fold, and everyone else folds, so he takes it down. Here, look down at King-Jack 10-9, single suited to the king in the small blind. There's a couple early position limps. I make it 25, and both limpers call, so we're going 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes Jack 7-4 rainbow. I bet 40, and we get 1 caller, so we're going heads up to a turn. Turn brings another jack. I check just because I feel like this is going to be a better card for his limp calling range, so I check. He bets 60, and I Hollywood a little bit before shoving all my chips in, and he folds. So glad to see one of my slow playing opportunities actually pays off, so I'm 1 for my last 37. Not bad. Here, I look down at King 6-4-4, double suited on the button. There's a couple limpers ahead of me. I decided to over limp. It's not the greatest hand here, obviously, but I just won the previous hand. Kind of a little heat check here, and if you're going to call with a hand that's this bad, you might as well do it on the button. So I limp, and both the blinds check, so we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes 10-6-5 with 2 hearts. Early position player bets 15. Late position player calls, and I call, so we're going 3 ways to a turn. Turn brings the king of clubs. Both players check to me. I go ahead and bet 45, and both players call, so we're going 3 ways still to a river. River brings the only card that gives us the absolute nuts, ace of hearts. Both players check to me. I bet 90, and unfortunately both players fold, so we take it down. So here I look down at Queen-Queen 9-8, double suited in the cutoff, and this is directly after the King 6-4 forehand. There's a couple limps to me. I make it 30. The button and the small blind call, so we're going 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes 8-5-3 with 2 hearts. When it checks to me, I check. Button bets 50. Other player calls, and I decide to call as well. So we're still going 3 ways to a turn. Turn brings a 4 hearts. When it checks to me, thinking about the hand here, I have the 5th nuts now. There's a couple ace king and then obviously a couple straight flushes that beat me. So I feel like the hand's too good to check and then allow the button to bet big. It'd be kind of a weird spot. So I decided to go with a blocker type bet of 65. This will kind of allow me to figure out where I'm at in the hand. And the button folds pretty quickly and the small blind calls. So we're going heads up to a river. River brings a king of hearts, so obviously making it a little less likely that I'm beat here. My opponent checks, and here I'm just thinking about whether or not I should bet. When he called on the turn, I felt like his calling range was very polarized. He's either going to have a hand that absolutely crushes me, or he's going to have a hand that's really not going to call a huge bet here, like, you know, a set of some sort. So it may seem kind of nitty, but I ended up checking back. My opponent says 2 pair, and obviously I turn over my hand knowing we're good, and we're taking it down. Here I look down at king, queen, queen, jack, rainbow in middle position in a straddle pot. Player to my right calls, I call, both the blinds complete, and the straddler checks. So we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes 10-6-3 with 2 diamonds. Straddler bets 10. Player to my right calls, I call, and one of the early position players calls. So we're going 4 ways to a turn. Turn brings an ace of clubs. Everyone checks to me. I check, take a free card. So we're still going 4 ways to a river. River brings another 6, and everyone checks to me. I check, and no one looks too happy about their hand. I turn over my hand, and we're good. So taking it down. Here I look down at queen, queen, 5-4, single suited to the queen in the small blind. There's an early position raised to 15, 2 callers, I call, and the big blind calls. So we're going 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes king 8-6 with 2 diamonds. I check. Other players check over to the player in the cutoff. He bets 25. I call, and there's 2 other callers. So we're going 4 ways to a turn. Turn brings a 10 of clubs. I check, and action actually checks through. So we're still going 4 ways to a river. River brings a queen, which obviously completes a lot of the straights out there, but I figure I might be able to get some value from some 2 pair holdings. So I bet 35. Player to my left, he makes it 110 and folds back to me. I also fold. I played a couple more orbits after the queen's hand, didn't really get a ton to play, and decided to rack up.
What's up, guys? Wayne back here with you. So today I was in for 500, out for 745, so a profit of 245. Definitely a much slower game than usual today. There wasn't many loose players, pretty tight. There's a lot of over limping. You know, the game was really on life support at one point. You know, at the beginning, I did get aces back to back. Won both of them. I flopped a straight on the first one, flop quads on the second one, which, you know, it's always cool flopping quads like that, but I mean, it'd almost be better, obviously, to flop full house. You know, you're not really going to have much for other people to have, but happy I won those. But after that, probably went about 3 hours without getting a whole lot. Just kind of bled down from 600. I was below 300 at one point. Thought about topping up, but the game really wasn't as, you know, that great as I mentioned. So I kind of almost had the thought if I lost the first buy-in, I might just kind of pack it in, but I ended up getting those 3 hands in a row, the first of which was the king jack 10-9, single suited, ended up raising, betting flop, hitting trips on the turn, check raising all in. Then the king 6-6-4, ended up hitting 2 pair and a flush on that, won that, and then the double suited queens ended up winning a decent sized pot there. After that, didn't get a whole lot, so you know, it's the reality of poker, as I mentioned in some of my past videos. Not every session is just going to be fireworks and huge pots. You know, today kind of shows you that sometimes it's just a grind and you just got to stay patient. So happy to kind of eke out a small win there. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe button. If your viewing experience could have been better, please let me know how down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.